I'm Miguel Garcia, Customer Success Manager for the Yammer Network at INSEAD, and I'm here with Zoe McKay, who is the Project Manager for INSEAD. And I think we've had 2 wonderful days of orientation week. We've had over 300 students that are now on the network.
Yes. On the Fontainebleau campus.
On the Fontainebleau campus, yes. And so I'm just going to ask Zoe a few questions. So Zoe, other than being your job, what motivated you to take charge of the Yammer Network for INSEAD, and why did you choose to be the main champion for it?
I think what interested me specifically about the Yammer project and the idea of making an enterprise social media, a social network for INSEAD was that it played on a lot of my previous experience. I'm from an IT background originally, followed by which I did 5 or 6 years of research specifically in corporate strategy before becoming online communications manager for INSEAD with all that entails: Facebook, Twitter, journalism, etc. So when I was approached by the direction about starting up a social project for INSEAD, I found it a fabulous opportunity. I saw straight away the added value that could have for something like INSEAD, and also the challenge that it represented was extremely exciting.
What do you think are some of the biggest challenges or issues that you face with this project?
I think that the thing that's been the most challenging for us compared to most other companies is the fact that we have multiple stakeholders. INSEAD isn't a standard company with employees and clients, where you would have employees on an enterprise social network and you would be able to control the conversations very much. We're probably one of the few that actually has our clients on our network. So there was an enormous challenge trying to define the structure that we wanted to use, and we did spend many hours debating that to see, did we want to have one main network, did we want to have several networks? And so the top management was involved, the deans were involved in that decision, and they made the decision to create several networks. So we have our global network where the entire INSEAD community finds itself, our alumni, our students, our staff, our faculty. So they're very diverse groups with extremely diverse interests and who are not at all looking for the same thing. And then we wanted to create a virtual learning environment, which is our learning network, where we have our MBA teams interacting with our students, where we support them, where we give them all the different services that they could expect from us, and the faculty interact with them there. And then we have what I would say is our intranet, which is for our faculty and staff, where we do our housekeeping issues, where we collaborate together. So if I was asked for the main challenge, yes, I would say that was the main challenge. A second challenge that came to us was one of mindset. We have because we're a multi-campus environment, we are spread over 3 geographical areas. We have Abu Dhabi, Singapore and Fontainebleau. We did discover very different behavior in each of those regions. Singapore, for example, they were very advanced as far as social media is concerned. They've been using it for a long time. The Singapore government strongly encourages its population to be social media savvy, compared to France, which where you have an enormous diversity. You have people that are extremely avant-garde in using social media. France has some of the major technology companies and is very advanced as far as this is concerned. And then we have a second population that is older and that doesn't feel comfortable using social media. So we've had to cater our communication to those different groups and accompany them, more or less.
What do you think has been the value of having the Yammer customer engagement support during this project for INSEAD?
I think that the customer, I'd say it's been a little bit of a mixed bag. Because of the very unique structure of INSEAD, it was maybe a little bit more difficult for the customer success managers to understand exactly what our challenge was, because we're not a standard company. In saying that, I think that we've worked together and we've come far in that. I'd say that, again, because of the different nature of our of our activity. It's not as if were bringing outside consultants into our company and working with staff, but also with our clients. So we had to be very careful about that relationship as well. We've also had to be careful about faculty who, they work extremely intensely. They are under a tremendous amount of pressure, and it's not always easy to bring them to do something new because it means taking a risk. It's their reputation that is on the line if things don't work out. So we've had to measure I'd say the engagement of the customer success managers with the INSEAD community to make sure that the right message is always got across. But I'd say it's been a great cooperation right up until now. We've had, you've managed to provide us with a lot of resources that have been extremely useful.
Great. So going off of that, what would you say is an important advice working with some of the future universities that will be using this? Because INSEAD is very forward-thinking. I think you're one of the first business schools that is really integrating social into the way that, not just education, but the way that your staff and faculty are using it as well. Some advice going forward for us.
For you, I think that, I understand that because this is something new, you didn't necessarily have anybody that was specialised in this. We did, what was extremely helpful for us was at the beginning when we were still in a stage where we were looking at several different offers, was that we were able to speak directly to Pepperdine University. Now that was for us extremely valuable because we understood directly from them the challenges that they'd faced, and we were able to learn from their implementation and also understand the different pitfalls that they came up against. That was very useful. I would encourage you to leverage that client-to-client relationship as much as possible, because nobody could possibly understand the challenges that we've faced as much as ourselves. And I think that possibly moving forward, if you've got other universities or schools that are challenged in the same way or interested or starting to explore, just as we were able to speak to Pepperdine, certainly very interesting for our client-to-client relationship directly.
So, like I said, we've had 2 great days. Can you provide us an update on the latest from Orientation Week and things that you've seen in the network that you've liked or that have surprised you as well?
I think what surprised us the most was the fact that we sent out the invitations to join the network on Friday, and by Saturday afternoon, 50% of them had already been accepted. We weren't expecting it to go so fast. I just gave a presentation in front of the Fontainebleau class. I asked them to put up their hands if they'd received the invitation and accepted it. I asked the wrong question because I should have asked who hasn't. Maybe 8 people in the amphi, and I know somebody asked the same question in Singapore. 6 people in the entire promotion hadn't yet accepted the invitation, and we're looking at a class of 500 people. So I think that the acceptation was extraordinary. The fact that within less than 12 hours we've had students creating groups on the network, asking questions on the network. They've moved extremely fast. They feel extremely comfortable with this type of technology. Now it's up to us to be able to have an adequate response from our staff that are still learning how to use these tools.
Right. So one of the best use cases I think that we've seen is the IT support group. If you could maybe provide some examples of that and other things that you might see.
Yes, absolutely. The IT support group is extraordinary. We have students coming from, I can't even tell you how many, maybe between 60 and 80 different countries. They arrive on campus with multiple devices, cell phones, laptops, iPads, tablets, and they all arrive with this multitude of equipment that is not standard, as is in most companies. It's bring your own device, but to the extreme. And when they arrive, they have to come and they need to get access to printers, they need to get access to drivers, they need to get Microsoft Office downloaded onto their computers. And so we have this enormous logistics wall of our entire IT support team being mobilized. There was a last-minute decision to move the IT support onto Yammer just before the promotion arrived, and thanks to our CIO, who is really supporting the project, the IT support team transferred the integral collection of support and documents that we have for the students onto Yammer, created a group where students can ask questions directly of the support, and they are doing it. It's been the most active group so far. So making all those resources available so that students can go and answer their own questions by looking for documents. And then, funnily enough, I've seen somebody saying, I've got a Windows phone, how do I get my email on it? Our IT guys are answering them at the same time the students are answering each other. It's exactly the way we would have liked it to work out. So I must thank the IT department, who have moved really, really well on this. And yes, it's been, I think, possibly one thing that I would have to say about the implementation is I couldn't insist how important it is to have clear direction from the different directors over the institution, who have had a clear message towards their team and said, this is why we're doing this, I think it's a good idea, I want you to move forward with me, address any of the issues or worries, and really be quite clear about their message. I think that's the most important thing.
That's really great to hear. And then, just to end this, where do you see the project maybe 6 months or 1 year from now? Where do you want it to be more exactly?
Where I see the project, we still have a certain number of groups that we want to integrate. We've only just started with the MBAs. This is the first big promotion that is on the platform. I think the next one, this has been a launch for us. The next time, I don't think it's even going to be a launch. It's just going to be natural. This is the way we do things from now on.